What's up, everybody? It is time to talk about college football 25. We are less than a month out from my pre-order. Of course, I got the pre-order. I'm going to be playing as early as I can. I might move to New Zealand, literally, so I can play it early. I am super excited about this game. I think it's going to be fire. I've been seeing the deep dives. We probably got some more gameplay coming. I know we got a Road to Glory deep dive coming, but they did do a lot of gameplay, and they showed us a lot of clips of some teams and stuff. So what I want to do today is I'm going to jump in here and give you the top 10 teams to rebuild on EA College Football 25 in Dynasty mode. What is so different about EA College Football 25, which my Madden heads might not know. And so this is what's going to be so interesting this time is when college football was out a decade ago, it was very clear lines as far as like some people play college football, some people play Madden, and each game had its own kind of group or whatever. And some people play both, but a lot of people chose. Well, since college football's been gone, anybody that wants to play a football game has had to play Madden if you're not on PC and playing the revamp, right? So all the Madden heads are coming to College Football 25. And it is a very different experience that I don't know if they're going to like, and I don't think they realize how different of an experience it is. And so, for example, rebuilds and dynasty in Madden, because of the salary cap, because you can sign long-term contracts, because of some of the lack of depth in Madden franchise, it is very easy to kind of do rebuilds, especially offline rebuilds. If you don't put parameters around yourself, like C4, he does a whole bunch of rebuilds. Shout out to him. I like his videos, but he puts parameters like he's only gonna do realistic. So he says he does realistic rebuilds. So he don't go free agency and sign 598 overall. But if you don't have any video game morals, it is very easy to do rebuilds, and the computer in Madden is easy to cheese. And so if you could come up with a play or whatever. I just had a franchise where a guy he had like 600 receiving yards in a game with a receiver because he's just throwing the same route. College Football 25 is a very different experience in dynasty mode. As far as one, the CPU is way better, which I don't know if Madden players can really grasp, but like playing CPU on Heisman is a real challenge, especially if you're overmatched. So say like you want to do a rebuild and you're rebuilding a 2-star program and you like put on your schedule Alabama, you probably gonna get smacked, bro. Like and not because you're bad, but because all their players are better. And so like some of those things go into kind of dynasty. I keep mixing up the dynasty mode to make it to me make it way more replayable, especially as an offline experience. And so I'm gonna talk about top 10 teams I think you can rebuild, and these aren't like number 1 is the best, number 10 is the worst, but just really 10 teams that I think are worth rebuilding in college football 25. And so we're gonna jump into it. All right. All right, here we go. So honorable mention. I got 2 teams that's on my honorable mention list. Colorado. I think all kind of casual fans are going to do a Colorado rebuild. I think they are probably the most exciting 4-8 team in NCAA history, just because of the start they got out to. Deion Sanders being the charismatic personality he is, and Shador Sanders being one of the top quarterbacks in the NCAA. And that's not even something that just Colorado fans think. Look at every mock board. Look at all the draft boards. He's a high level draft prospect. And so I think you combine those two with the fact that they were horrendous the year before. And they got off to a 4-0 start, beating teams they were, I think in this TCU game, they were like 3-score underdogs, something crazy like that. I should have put some money on it. I knew they was going to win too, man. I could be rich. All right, back to the point. But I think Colorado's gonna be a fun rebuild. I think you got to be like Coach Prime. You got to be in the, you know what I'm saying, the transfer portal. One thing that's interesting and makes it still not an easy rebuild is they were 1-8 last year in the Pac-12, which was not great, and they're moving to the Big 12, which I'm not sure how good the Big 12 is actually going to be with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. But what it does do, that's a dot by Shador. What it does do is give you a chance to play with Travis Hunter, who was on the cover of EA College Football 25 and probably one of the top 3 highest rated players. And it gives you a chance to win the Big 12. Like you have a shot to come in and win a Big 12 title, which will give you a playoff berth and all of that. So I think Colorado's fun. My second honorable mention team is trying to wait for it. I don't want to give it away. Alabama. So hear me out. And this is why the reason that Alabama's honorable mention is I feel like they're already going to have so many 5 stars and 4 stars. It isn't much of a rebuild. But there is a storyline here, right, with Nick Saban retiring and the ideal that, like, he couldn't get it done his last year. He kind of retired because of NILs. He didn't really want to deal with that with recruiting and transferring. And so you coming in as the new coach, kind of taking over as a new regime, gives you an opportunity to kind of just have some fun. If you're not into like grinding, Alabama is a team that's already ready to win. You just got to go do it. And SEC is tough and got better with Texas and Oklahoma. So it's not going to be an easy road by any means. You got to beat Georgia. Like, it's going to be challenging to win it all. But, I mean, you already have a good team. And I'm interested to see Jalen Milroe in the game. They have said, like, over and over again, like, the better, faster, stronger players feel that way. And there might not be a guy in all of college football that kind of captures who is a guy who's faster, stronger. And so would love to see him get an open field. Like you watch these clips, like he has an athletic burst. And I want to see if they're able to capture that on the game, scramble around with him. He's probably going to be one of the most used quarterbacks in play now for sure. Even for people who don't like Alabama, just because of his ability to scramble and his arm. Like, you see him throwing off-platform dots. Like, look at this, off his back foot, and it just puts him on a rope. I'm interested in him. So let's get into the top 10. First, Kennesaw State. And I think Kennesaw State is going to be probably one of the most done rebuild because they are the newest Division I team in college football. So Kennesaw State was a commuter school. Around COVID, they brought in a committee to determine that they could get football. And the committee took like almost a year. Shout out to Embrace the Grind for the footage, right? And they decided to start football. And so they have a interesting recruiting base being right out of Atlanta. I think that you could build a pipeline and really like compete with Georgia, right, and Georgia Tech on getting some of those top Georgia, top Florida athletes. The jerseys are fire. I love an all-black jersey. I think the storyline is perfect for you there as far as taking a team who hasn't done anything. Literally, those helmets are fire too with that logo. Ooh. Oh, that's not them. That's funny. I thought they had some alternates. But I think they have a great opportunity to just take a team from zero to hero. Winning a national championship with Kennesaw State, a team that has never had a Division I game, would be incredible. I think that a lot of people, you'll probably see a lot of creators do this one. I don't know how many common people would do this. Just because, like, if you play on higher skill level, it's going to be difficult to win games. And one thing they said, too, was, like, you can't just go get a whole bunch of 5-star recruits, which is in the old game, you could just put, like, all your points towards certain people, and then that would let you get them, basically. You get to see a 5-star, just put all your points towards them, and you can get them. But what they're adding now is deal breakers. And so, hold on, let me pause this. I'm talking. They're adding deal breakers, so you won't be able to just get a whole bunch of 5-star recruits. So you actually have to build up your pipeline with 2 stars and 3 stars, and maybe you can get a 4-star, but it's going to be very difficult starting off to get those people to come play for you. So that makes Kennesaw State even more difficult. All right, let's hop into the next one. University of Central Florida. I think UCF is a gem. Just for the simple fact that, one, they're in the Big 12. So this is the thing, too. I was thinking about when I was looking at different teams, was like, who actually is in a conference where they can win the national championship? And UCF, being in the Big 12, they could win a national championship because you're in a Power 5. Like I said, Big 12 is interesting with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. There is a vacuum at the top of it. So I think I have another Big 12 team on here on this list, because you could go win a Power 5 conference in year 1 or year 2. UCF also being in Florida, being able to recruit Florida. If you can do that, like, you don't even got to recruit anywhere else. If you could load up with 4 stars, 3 stars from Florida, man, that'll give you a shot at really, you know what I'm saying, turning your team around. UCS I think their first year, maybe their second year in the Big 12 last year, they weren't very good. Like, they got off to a hot start in non-conference and got to the Big 12, a lot like Colorado, and looked overmatched repeatedly. They did have a really fun quarterback. I think his name is like RHP or something like that. He was super dope. But then this guy, you're seeing this left-hand black guy, he came in and played some snaps with him last season because RHP got hurt. And so I think you do have a quarterback in place that can kind of lead the rebuild. And so I like University of Central Florida. So next, let's go to University of Nebraska. Now, this one I think is interesting because Nebraska, when I was younger, when I was growing up, Nebraska was a powerhouse. Like, I remember the black shirts. I remember, like, going to Nebraska and winning was like impossible. And I was looking up, like, when's the last time they won a national championship? Because I feel like it's been a while since they've been good. And, man, they have not won a national championship since 1997. So although this is not like a Kennesaw State program, like an upstart program, this is a program who has seen better days. They are a traditional powerhouse. And I think one of the things I think would be so cool with Nebraska is, like, because in the old EA college football games, I'm assuming it's in this one, is the better you got, the better your crowd would get. And so it would be super dope to take Nebraska and turn it back into the hardest place to play in America, right? Like, I think that they have the infrastructure to get you some 4 stars at least right off the bat. Playing in the Big Ten, you're going to have shots at the Michigans, at the Ohio State, to bring recruits in and get a win. And, you know, trying to sway some recruits. They said that's going to be on there, which I think is super dope. So being in a Power 5 conference really does help you. It's because you have more weekends you can bring recruits on. And if you win those games, they'll be more likely to sign with you. Which, if you're not in the Power 5 conference, I'm assuming you can only bring so many recruits each week. And if you play a team early, you might not have enough points to bring them on a visit. And so by the time you get in the conference schedule, you might not have the top teams on your schedule to really sway recruits. And so bringing in Nebraska, bringing in recruits against Ohio State, against Michigan, will really help you. All right, Air Force. I had to put one of the academies on here, and I chose Air Force because I'm biased. Back in NCAA 14, my cousin actually played at Air Force, and so I would do a whole bunch of play now with Air Force. And the way I love the triple option wishbone offense is my favorite offense, bro. And I'm not just saying that because I'm cheesy. I just think since I was younger, I loved having fun on the game. And there's nothing more fun than running a jet sweep from your fullback and then coming next play and going fake jet sweep, fake rollout, stop option pass. Like that play call system, I think is going to be so fun. And I'm probably going to get Air Force in a user franchise, because I think if you're playing against users, they're going to struggle against all the options and stuff. And if you can recruit a quarterback that is dual threat, that can actually throw the ball. Because that's the one thing I was watching their highlights and stuff. Almost all the passes were underthrown and things like that. If you get a guy who's an athlete, a real dual threat who can run that triple option, their offense becomes dangerous. And you want to be able to play in a Navy game. You want to be playing in an Army game. Just because that's college football, like at its core. And I think what makes Air Force interesting is if you do it realistically, they don't recruit transfers. So if you only do it like they do in real life and you only recruit high school athletes, it gives you an added layer to the challenge of rebuilding them. They're in the Mountain West, which is a pretty good conference. I think I have another team from the Mountain West as well. It's a pretty good conference. And they're at the point where with conference realignment, you can move them to the Big 12. You could even move them to being independent, which I think that's underrated. I think being independent is underrated. I almost put Notre Dame on here because they were independent. So yeah. Next is Boise State. Like I said, I had a couple teams from the Mountain West. Boise is on here because their field is blue. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie about it. Shout out to Fox for the intro. You feel me? Boise is on here because their field is blue. Okay. Who doesn't want to play on blue turf for 6 games a year, right? Boise back in the early 2000s was one of those teams that one of those mid-major programs that people thought were going to break through and become a powerhouse, but they haven't, right? And they had some really big bowl wins against some teams that they shouldn't be. I think they beat Oklahoma one year in a bowl, but they haven't even made it. They haven't made a college football playoff. They haven't made a big-time bowl in a while. I think with Boise, kind of like Air Force, you could go Big 12. You could redo the Pac-12 and put Boise in the Pac-12 since they're out west, or you could just play on the blue field in the Mountain West and dominate and get a national playoff berth from that. Especially since you go to 12-team playoff, you could probably get a national championship berth from playing at Boise. I think their uniqueness of their field makes them interesting. I think if you do Boise, you gotta recruit California. Being out west, you got to get some of those close to homes to come to Idaho, which may be difficult. I'm not sure exactly how far out close to home is, but you gotta recruit California, maybe even Colorado, kind of recruit that west, Arizona, because I think it's gonna be difficult for you to get people from New York and Texas and Florida to come play in Idaho. I think Boise might be a good transfer school to get transfers to come play in. So, and that's one thing they said. If you recruit a guy out of high school and say you don't choose Boise, right? If he goes back in the portal, you'll be alerted like, hey, one of your guys is back in there. The U, right? This is a no-brainer. Who wouldn't want to rebuild the U? When I'm talking about like my childhood, just like Nebraska, they have not won anything since I've been even a adolescent, right? Their last national championship was in 2001. Think about that. 2001 was their last national championship. And so with all the NFL greats, with all the Hall of Famers, with all the boosters, like you could rebuild the U. And what's interesting, reason I picked this Clemson game for highlight is Clemson is what the U used to be, right? And so I think ACC gives you an opportunity to play Clemson, to play Florida State, bring recruits in for those games. I think you can become the king of Florida, right? Schedule that game against Florida, and you can dominate Florida recruiting, a lot like UCF. Like you can get the best guys from Florida. You can build a college football program. You ain't got to recruit from no other state. Get you a couple Georgia guys and 15 Florida guys, and you can become a powerhouse again. Their jersey combinations are incredible. They have all the kind of swagger you want in a big time college football program. They just don't have any of the success that goes with being a college football program. And so I think getting them back to prominence, and it might be nostalgic for me because I remember when the U was great. I feel like getting them back to prominence will be one of the most fun things to do in Dynasty this year. And I've been watching some other videos. I haven't seen anybody put Miami on their video. I don't know if it's because they're already like a decent program, but that being said, they are not champions. They haven't played in a college football playoff. They haven't, like I said, won a national title in over 20 years. it's a rebuild. For my hometown, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, baby, this is going to be one of the first rebuilds I do here on the channel. So if you subscribe, make sure you like and comment. Make sure you share. You know what I'm saying? If you want more EA Sports content, Madden content, turn them bells on. I'm from Kansas, and KU has been knocking on the door of relevancy for 2 years now. So they won the Orange Bowl in 2008, right? They haven't won a conference championship since 1968. This is the epitome of a basketball school, but they have been getting some football wins. You come in your first year and you have a Heisman candidate in their quarterback, who is a dual threat, amazing quarterback. I want to say his name is Jaden Daniels, but that his name in the LSU guy that just left LSU, the name is like super close. But he's a Heisman candidate, and he's been in the Heisman race the last 2 years, but's gotten injured. And so, which makes me a little nervous with the wear and tear system. Oh, they just got the ankles broke. But he is legit one of the top quarterbacks in the country. And so you come in with that. You're playing in the Big 12 where Texas, Oklahoma's going. You can go win a Big 12 championship for the first time since 1968 in your first year as a head coach, get into the college football playoff, and then anything is possible. They do have some fire jerseys. They got some gray joints that are incredible. Like Oregon level dope. But the thing is, they won this bowl game last year. It's their first bowl win in a long time, and they're building something. So you could come in. It wouldn't be super realistic because their coach ain't getting fired no time soon. But you could just say, you know what I'm saying, he decides to retire and spend time with family. You could go in there. Now, University of Houston is another program who, like I said, I think these Big 12 teams are really good rebuilds. And those jerseys, impeccable. Those are one of the best jerseys in college football, and I think they already announced them as they're wearing them opening day. And so I honestly put them on here for those jerseys alone, because those baby blue joints are incredible. And I thought we weren't going to get them this year because the Tennessee Titans was hating, bro. Talking about them in the Houston Oilers jerseys. Man, shut up. Y'all ain't the Houston Oilers no more. So, but yeah, I think U of H, I guess, a lot like UCF, didn't necessarily make the jump to the Big 12 look effortless. And so I think there's some opportunity there. When you look at their offense struggle in the spring game, I think there's some opportunity there for improvement. Anytime you come in with an already recruiting pipeline to Texas or Florida, is going to be a plus. And so them being in Texas gives them a chance to recruit the best athletes in the world, really, to come play for them. And that's kind of what you need to turn a program around, is you need some 4 or 5 stars to come in and to make a difference right away. And so I think U of H gives you that opportunity. And recruiting is the name of the game in college football. So I'm assuming EA College Football is going to be the same kind of ideal. One thing that's super interesting is they talked about like 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars playing differently. And so 5 stars playing differently. So if you can get some 5-star guys from Texas, they're going to be able to step on the field and be athletically capable right away. This is a fun one. University of Hawaii. I remember early 2000s, maybe middle 2000s, like 2010s. They went on some runs, shocked the world, won a bowl game, and did nothing. And so this is another Mountain West team. I think getting some people to come play in Paradise, like, is there a better, stadium? Is there a better campus? Football wise, I don't think so. You're right. Like, University of Virgin Islands don't got football, not Division I football. Like, there's no football in the Bahamas, or University of Puerto Rico don't got football. So, like, we're talking about playing in Paradise. You got the fans, you got the music, and you can play like aloha luau music. You know what I'm saying? Like, You can there's like two Samoan families in Hawaii that just produce NFL pros, make them come to your school. You can recruit California. It ain't that far, fam. Hop on a 2-hour flight, come over here. Like, I think their jersey combos are fire. And jersey combos matter. If you are new to EA college football, jersey combos are vitally important when we're talking about rebuilding a dynasty. If I'm going to be looking at these jerseys for 10 seasons, that I need to like them. Okay. And so, yeah, I think there is an opportunity there just to do something super fun. I think Hawaii is a fun rebuild. They're in the Mountain West as well. I think they're another independent option, right? Like, just kind of like Air Force. I think going independent from Hawaii would be kind of dope. And just you play all the best teams and have them fly to, like, I think that would be super cool. So you already got the fan base. You just got to go get some wins to really build out that home field advantage. Think about that. You not only got to get on a flight coming from, think I get Clemson to come. You got a 15, 16-hour flight day, and then you get here and you can't audible. I think that's fire. And so that was my 10th one, if you were keeping track of rebuilds. I think that rebuilds in EA College Football 25, I think they did a really dope job. And I was looking at the in-depth. A lot of the in-depth stuff is built around making the experience more challenging than it was. Like I said, in College Football 14, you could just use your points, get the best recruits year one at a one-star program, and then go win. I think it's going to be super interesting. Two things. I am a build and stay guy. So I want to build a program that wasn't good, that now is Alabama, that now is Georgia. But they also give you the option to build and move, like coaches do in real life, like Washington coach. So Washington, they just saw Washington. University of Washington's coach built them into a team that played in the college football playoff and national championship game, and went to Alabama, which is a better job. And so you can do that as well as part of your rebuild. It's kind of doing it less of a team journey and more of like a coach journey. So you can start off at Appalachian State, at Kennesaw State, and win a conference championship, and then go to, I don't know, it wouldn't be University of Texas, maybe like you can get an Arkansas job, University of Arkansas, SEC, and go there and then win in Arkansas. And then here comes Notre Dame calling. Like, right, you could do that. I'm interested to see how many people do that. I am going to start off with just program rebuilds, where I take a program that hasn't won and make them where every recruit in the country wants to go. And so I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe for more EA Sports content. It's your boy Smooth Strick with Smooth Gaming, and I'm out, man. Peace.